Here's a bombshell rundown. Okay, now we getting interesting. Let's see what's the number one. Number one, Charlie's text. Ditching pro-Israel stance 48 hours before death, despite all the lies denying it. That's what we just spoke about, right? They just was talking about the idiot, what's his name? Bren, whoever we just was speaking about. The idiot was basically saying that his staff and his friends are all actually his good staff and his friends. I'm like, well, his friends and his staff, whoever it was on the text thread when he was saying these things. And when Candace Owens mentioned it, they called her a liar. Until she brought out the receipts of her having that conversation. After she had the receipts of her having that conversation, then they said that she's wrong for putting out that type of information, that private messages. So she's wrong and she's lying about saying it. Then she proves that she's not lying. And then they gaslight and say, well, wait, you're putting out private information. Why are you doing that? You proving us to be liars. You can't do that. You're a bad person. So now she's a bad person because she puts out the information. Let's go. Let's make it even more juicy. Number two, Tyler Robinson at Dairy Queen the day of the hit. Photo proof. Then drove the Cowboy Smokehouse that night, likely dodging traffic cams. Calm as ice post first kill. So basically, in this second one, after Tyler Robinson did whatever he did to Charlie Kirk, he went to the Dairy Queen calmly and very chill. And which is very odd for somebody that just caught their first homicide. That's just a vibe thing. I don't see anybody, going to go do that and on the run and just go to Dairy Queen, go grab something to eat and then go to a smokehouse that night. It seemed like you was really calm, like you were really chill because you didn't really do what they said you did. You had some part of it and you probably didn't know it was going to come directly down on you. You was just a part of it, but you wasn't the person, or you knew about it, had knowledge about it, because she was pretty calm, which is, once again, that's just a vibe thing. That doesn't mean nothing, because if he is a cold-hearted killer, then he could 100% just be, calm with catching his first body and he loves it. Maybe, right? Let's go to the next one. Tyler called out sick, food poisoning on the 11th from his job at the Wild Electric in St. Clair, just Utah, using the, I guess it's supposed to mean using the excuse of helping grandma move furniture on the 10th. Grandma excuse again. Feds check her house. I don't know if the feds checked the house. Maybe that's what you're talking about. I never heard that one. That one I never heard. Tyler's job, the Wild Electric, Santa Clara in Utah. I never heard that one either. Charlie's secret Catholic shift, attending mass, praying the rosary, died in the St. Michael pendant, private Catholic funeral. That's another thing when she said that, once again, for the idiot before, Bren, because he's stupid. He basically was saying that she didn't prove anything. And it's the fact that when she first said about him looking into Catholicism, which nobody would have thought was a big deal, but they really didn't like that. And they said that he was lying. He used to walk around with a priest with him. And even when I think Erika and him thought like somebody put a hex on him or something like that, they had a priest with them. They walked around with a priest. Not only did they walk around with a priest, he was attending mass, he was praying to his rosaries, and he was wearing a St. Michael's pendant on his neck. All Catholic things. And then he had a private Catholic funeral. So everything says Catholic and Catholicism. But then they try to paint her as crazy. I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was Andrew Kovic, but somebody from Turning Point USA said, no, he just liked the stained glass of the Catholic Church. He just liked the scenery. That's it. He wasn't even thinking about that, which is a weird thing to defend. So that's extremely off. Let's see. Terrell Farnsworth, weird post-assassination behavior. I don't even know who that is. If y'all know who that is, please send a comment to help me out with that one. I don't know what that one is. No blood on Charlie's back. Bullet didn't pass through. First red flag, feds were lying. That's a big one. That is a big one. That they said that. Let me zoom it in so people can see it even more. That is a big one. That for him to be shot, the lie that they said that this man, this unique human being, was hit with a bullet, and then it hit his spine and didn't go through because his bones were strong. Okay. But the part that gets more weird is that not only did it hit this bone, it ricocheted downwards and destroyed all the other bones. I guess the health and the spinach didn't get to those bones. Those bones were all shattered all the way down. So that means it had to hit him initially, not lose power. It had to pick up some more power and then go downwards to shatter the rest of his bones, because that makes a lot of sense. Okay. So that is a weird thing. No blood on Charlie's back. Okay. Inside pics of Charlie's SUV post hit. That is true. She's the only person that put that one out. This is getting real interesting because they're just making it easy for her. The thing about it was with the exploded mic theory, which I would love to actually cover, but that is an interesting one. This is not to say that that's what happened and, we know for sure. But when a guy breaks it down, I got to find out who that guy was. I should actually post that. The guy, the way he and this is like the things that he do, and you can tell how embedded into his work he is. And it seems like this guy don't do nothing but do that. Like he don't even go outside and touch grass. So those are the people you want investigating this stuff. And he broke it down and said like, it had to be something like that because anything else just doesn't make sense. And I don't want to ruin his investigation on what he said, but it does make a lot of sense. And that's something that, people should start looking into. But he had said something about some black thingy inside the mic. And it was some black stuff inside the car. Even the car was black. It was some residue or whatever he was saying. And that could also explain why, they wanted that exit way really fast because they didn't want no evidence. So he was basically saying that whatever they wanted to happen didn't really happen. Like let's call it like a misfire. Like it didn't do the job it was supposed to do. But the wound or whatever it is that it would have made the impact of a 30-06 of somebody with a high caliber weapon if the device would have went off the proper way. But I don't want to say malfunction, but it kind of malfunctioned. Even though it did the job, but it kind of did some malfunction. But if it would have did the perfect job, then it would have left the scene looking like an actual 30-06 actually did that. And I think that's what happened. So they pushed the narrative too fast before they know. And then they didn't let the surgeon in the room. I wonder if they're going to put that one on that one too. So inside of the Charlie's, okay, we just read that one. Feds never impounded the vehicle, which is also kind of weird. They didn't impound the vehicle and keep it. They actually got rid of it and cleaned it. So they immediately cleaned it up and then got rid of it. That's kind of weird on anybody on any thing. Yeah, that's really, really, really weird that they never impounded the vehicle and they just immediately got rid of it. They said, yeah, we don't have no further use for this vehicle, right? The feds seized hospital cameras. Why would the feds seize the hospital cameras? Here goes the next one. What I was about to say. Feds blocked Dr. Trotter from the OR. Mystery DC phone call let him back in. So the surgeon of Charlie Kirk, after he pronounced him gone, the FBI did not allow him to go back into the room. And honestly, it could be them trying to clean up something or whatever it was. But the doctor wanted to go back in there to make him ready to see his wife. I guess clean him up to see Erika. And the feds would not let him back in, which is weird. And why wouldn't you want that? That, once again, just seems like a cover-up of some sort. The doctor is actually well connected to some degree. And I guess he made a call to DC or whatever it is. And then then they ended up letting him back in the room because of his connections of whatever, who he know. And so that's kind of weird, but is also interesting. Andrew Kovac's fake Superman neck quote never came from the doc, which is just Erika's upset words. So it turns out that they was trying to say that the doctor violated HIPAA. In other words, where you can't give out a client's information, is medical information of any kind, right? Because it's a violation. They're trying to say he violated that. The doctor came back and said, through a third party, he said that he never violated HIPAA. In fact, he never said that. he said that it was, I forgot, a frangible bullet or something like that. He said it could have been something else, what he thought it was. He said the only reason why he said something because Erika was on the phone. And he said something to the nature of, I can't remember. I really can't remember. But it's basically something to the nature of, it could have been some type of bullet. And Erika said the neck thingy. It wasn't the doctor that said that. And they immediately said that the doctor said that and tried to push it to the people. And yeah, which is weird. What do you say? Andrew COVID, Superman? Oh, nope. There we go right here. Charlie's text to Dan Flood and COVID the night before, afraid they were going to kill me. Erika confirmed. It's a fact. She said that because Erika said on a podcast, I wish I could find exactly what podcast it is because she lied. All right. She said that he never said that. And on a podcast, she was really snarky on that podcast. She was really saying like, oh no, he never said that. I have his phone. He never said no nonsense like that. It's a lie. She said it just like that, right? Very passively, but snarky. Turns out when she had the meeting with Candace Owens, she confirmed that actually was there. It's just that it wasn't in his iMessage and they use different apps. I don't know, Signal, some type of app or whatever it is that they communicate from. And he could have said it on that thing. Now, the fact that she omitted that, it's kind of weird, but yeah. So she confirmed that. Once again, they don't never push the narratives of whatever Candace Owens is saying is true. Netanyahu's call to Charlie offered to level up tpusa. Disputed by Erika, but Candace has separate sources. Now, Erika said that she was there when Netanyahu called, but he did not offer to lift up tpusa. I forgot what she said that he offered, but she said that Netanyahu did. But I guess some other sources say that he did, but whatever. But I guess she did break that somebody wanted to take tpusa to the next level. Now, Fort Huachuca, that's another thing that Candace Owens brought up. The Fort Huachuca exposed. Military police reports back mid-snow sighting were not done here. All right, I don't understand what that means, but the mid-snow, which Paramount Tactical made a fool of himself again, which is weird. The mid-snow guy that said that this happened that day. Now, nobody could believe his eyes, which Candace Owens had said, like everything else she confirmed, that he was in the army, he was there, he did run across some type of meeting, and he did basically get in trouble for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. He did, all that happened. And they said that she was lying, and Mitch is lying. And they created a whole media attack on Mitch Snow. And it makes us think, like, why would you create a media attack on Mitch Snow? Just because he said he saw Erika Kirk, and he said that he saw the security for Charlie Kirk, which is Brian Harpool. He said he probably saw Cabot Phillips, which is Erika Kirk's ex-boyfriend, that she said that she never dated for the 5 years she was in New York. Meanwhile, she had 2 boyfriends. She was on dating shows and all kind of lies, right? If you haven't seen that, I'm going to have to drop a link to that video. So he was there, which is Erika Kirk's ex-boyfriend. He also took pictures with Charlie, which is even more weird. He works at the Daily Wire, and he also is now doing some piece of a tour or whatever for Charlie Kirk. So her ex-boyfriend is now in a spot to honor her. But it gets really weird when it comes to that one, right? But they were saying that Mitch Snow said that he's seen them there at Fort Huachuca. When he said that he's seen them there at Fort Huachuca, everybody went in a panic and they started attacking Mitch Snow. Instead of just verifying the same people that had connections to tpusa, because the Paramount Tactical dude got the information from tpusa to try to create Erika Kirk's alibi, those same people could have just given information on where they was at, simply. And they didn't. And with Erika Kirk's alibi, they said she showed the picture of the 9th. So I guess tpusa wanted to send him that information. They wanted to send the guy that information, the Paramount Tactical dude, so he could push a narrative to say, I got proof that Erika Kirk was with her kids at the time that Candace Owens said da 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 da. But it was on the 9th. Candace Owens said that Mitch said that he's seen her the night of the 8th, so the night before. So I think Andrew Covid and them was trying to push that propaganda to him so he can say that he has verified where she was, although it was the 9th, and he said he didn't want him to show that information. But being that the guy was trying to be honest, I really believe that the Paramount tactical dude was trying to, think he's on the right side. He think he's on the right team. So he really was going out there and say, like, I'm going to blow this case wide open for them because I'm defending my friends. And then you realize your friends are not as honest as you thought they were. And then Andrew Covid told him, like, do not show this. But he made a mistake and he already did it live. So it was pretty much over for that situation. So, and if that's the case, if they was going to provide an alibi, which was the wrong alibi on the wrong date, then you would go back and be like, oh man, this was the 9th. No, she was talking about the 8th. Send me a picture of whatever she was doing or some type of metadata of anything so I could excuse her for the night of the 8th. They never did that. This is not to say that Erika Kirk was there, but it is to say that it is weird that they never ever went back and double back and said, all right, oh, that was the 9th. Sorry. Here's the 8th and the 9th. They never said that. They just let it disappear and let it fly, which makes people think that Mitch Snow wasn't lying. So more things happened when it comes to that meeting, which got real interesting with Paramount Tactical doing, foolishness. Before we continue, if you're here right now, make sure, hit the like button. Just hit it so it could help with the algorithm. Really appreciate it. But when it comes to another mistake that they said, so Paramount Tactical said, you know what? I'm going to still try to disprove this guy, Mitch Snow. In discounting Mitch Snow, they got in contact with his son, his estranged son, which he never really seen, right? He didn't raise him, and I think he didn't see him since he was 2 years old. He's a grown man now. So they said, we're going to dig up some more dirt on Mitch Snow so that he's not a credible person, which is weird. It's weird because, it's weird because instead of just contacting the people that sent him to do this or the people you're trying to defend and just get their alibis, pretty easy, right? They'd rather go do a whole entire investigation on somebody to just try to ruin their credibility to say that whatever he saw is not what he saw. He's lying because he's a liar and he just wanted attention. So the son was basically saying that he ain't believe the story. He ain't believe, like, they wouldn't allow his father to go in there because the son is also part of the army. The son said they won't allow him to be in there. He goes through the same thing anybody else in the army goes through, the regular floor. You're not running into no meetings and da-da-da-da. So he didn't believe that. However, this is where the slip up happens. The slip up happens when the son, now he slipped up and said that they called him on the 9th. And this is the military base. Called him and said, do you know a Mitch Snow? Now the son is saying, I don't know a Mitch Snow. Remember, this is a strange father. You haven't seen him since he was 2 or so. And I don't believe he knows his name is Mitch Snow because whatever Mitch Snow went through when he was younger, when he was in the army, it's a whole nother story. But in other words, to sum that up really, really quick, he got involved. He basically busted the cartel by mistake and found out that the U.S. government, the same government that he was serving, was actually in cahoots with the cartel to bring drugs into America. And he did it by mistake. And being that he ran into that, the people gave the cartel his name. And the cartel was now basically after him. So they snitched on him. And he had to go into witness protection. He got a new name. That's the Cliff Notes. So the son probably don't know a Mitch Snow. Even if he knew of his father, he don't know the Mitch Snow, his new name or whatever it was. And then he said, well, I didn't know, but they did call him. That's where he messed up. So for them to call the son, because he was listed as a contact for whatever reason, for the son to verify it, proves that whatever happened at Fort Huachuca actually happened at Fort Huachuca. That he was there, he just stumbled upon a big meeting, because why else would you call somebody's emergency contact? To try to verify why the father was even there. If he just goes through the same regular thing that anybody else is in the army will go through. That bust that wide open. They didn't expect that one. That's kind of weird. Now, when it comes to the Egyptian planes, tracking tpusa Faith, Doc's incoming, mark her words. Alex Jones continues to talk about how Candace Owens is doubling down on the Egyptian planes. And she's no longer talking about the Egyptian planes because he presented information to her and he said he paid for that information to prove that the Egyptian planes was not tracking TPUSA Faith, Eric Kirk, whatever it was. And, he's saying that she's doubling down on it. Now, she said that she was, making a document that was going to create the thing for the Egyptian planes. If that starts to break, Alex Jones is going to lose all credibility. And if she's right about that, because even if she's wrong about the Egyptian planes, because he said that 66% of the time it was not tracking them. I don't care if it was 30% of the time, that's still way too much. If it was 10% of the time, it's still no reason why the Egyptian planes would be tracking them. Because unless you and I have Egyptian planes where we at, 10% of something is going on, right? But I digress. But she says she's going to make that doc, but we have to wait for that. And then she's wrong. And then, we can penalize her for being wrong because she did go kind of hard with the Egyptian planes. The bomb dogs missed the fresh weapon on September 10th. Feds tip rookie cop to find it. That is actually very important. That is very, very important. What they said happened was the cops basically was looking for the gun. They brung out the bomb dogs, the gun sniffing dogs. It's like the best dogs, and their nose is about 100 times better than the humans or whatever it was. And they know how to find these things. That's what all these dogs do. The dogs searched all of those areas, could not find that gun. The dog searched all around, couldn't find the gun. So it's like, all right, that's odd. But it just so happened that now when the feds come through, it seems as if they planted the weapon in a certain place. And then they tip the rookie cop that don't know nothing and say, hey, did you check that? Go check that area. Go check it over there. And then the rookie cop goes over there and say, oh, I got it. He's like, yeah, he's going to be hyped that he found something. He cracked the case. Good job, rookie. I'm like, well, that don't make sense. So you pointed the rookie cop to go into a certain direction where the dogs already checked multiple times and it wasn't there. And then all of a sudden it just popped up. So therefore the rookie cop ended up finding it, but the dogs could not find it. That's where it gets weird. So now, once again, it implants the feds into this narrative that they had something to do with Charlie Kirk's assassination. Now, the massive check to TPUSA from Pierre Falcone. Arms dealer vibes, digging deeper. That I don't know about. I don't know if she just said that one. I don't even know who this is. But if somebody write a message check, if this is a donor, it's funny that Charlie Kirk was leaving some donors, and we could almost guarantee, because they didn't announce that they, was doing otherwise, that the same donors that he was going against is the same donors that are still at TPUSA now while he's gone. So therefore, the people that's acting like they're living in his image and they upholding what he believes in, it's bullshit, upholding whatever he believes in, it's a lie. The same people that was going against him and was pressuring him to do whatever they wanted him to do, and he said no, it's the same people out there that basically got their dollars into TPUSA and their funding to make whatever they want happen. And these are supposed to be the people that actually loved Charlie Kirk. It's kind of weird now that we think about that, right? And many more. There's actually too many to name, but you get the point. Candace is a beast, Sherlock Holmes, and nothing on her. Here there's Candace. We broken the story after story with receipts. We don't want credit. We want answers. Who really killed Charlie? It wasn't just Tyler Robinson. Just Tyler Robinson is very important. That statement right there, just Tyler Robinson, is very, very important, because she always said that Tyler Robinson did have something to do with it, which we all can say, like, he wasn't just an innocent person just, walking to school. You had something to do with that, but to what extent?